Good afternoon, it's Robert and Julia Miller with RETHINK Real Estate, bringing you another exciting real estate update.
Exciting, it is exciting because it's our first one in 2024.
Number 130.
Yeah, the last update was December 7th. And yeah, so it's been a while.
We are Robert and Julia Miller. We thoroughly enjoy real estate, and we've been in the business for quite some time now, over 30 combined years. So a lot of experience, and we enjoy delving into the nuts and bolts of real estate, and specifically in the Valley. So we bring you these updates to try to get through some of the drama and headline grabbing that you see, and some of the scare tactics and stuff, and some of the reporting on real estate that you see.
Yeah,
that's
mostly
inaccurate. Mostly clickbait, and so what we try to do is look at some true statistician sources that we trust, that we know are going to be fully transparent and very black and white with the numbers.
Yep.
And we want to bring that to you so you have a better idea of what's actually going on in real estate.
Yeah, I just celebrated my 14-year anniversary with being in real estate in December. High five.
All right, so we are going to dedicate, because we have so much meat and potatoes here, we're going to dedicate the entire episode to reviewing Tom Ruff of the Information Market's year-end, or actually review of 2023 report.
2023. What happened then, and why are we glad it's over?
It's kind of cool to be able to go over what was said and talked about every month, looking back, and to kind of see whether it was just way out in left field, or whether it actually, ended up proving accurate. Usually it takes time, and then you look back and go, okay, that was an actual right prediction.
So that's what we're going to do, kind of month by month, roughly. I don't know if you're going to cover every single month.
Yeah, a little bit, a tidbit of each one. It would take a couple hours to read this whole thing, so I'm just going to kind of hit some bullet points and some fun info.
And as always, if you want this full report, we can always email it to you. It comes in a PDF format, so it's really easy for us to send to you. Just email us at MteamAZ@gmail.com.
You're going to hear me mention, and this chart shows, and those charts will be put up on the screen at that point by Julia. So
I can do that.
All right, starting out January of 2023, we had very low, right off the bat, volume of sales, 4,265. That was the second lowest sales total for January in the last 20 years.
20 years.
And only 2008, everybody remembers the crash, and 2008 was the low point, reported fewer sales. That's the only month.
And we're going to talk more about 2008 here in a little bit, aren't we?
Yep.
Okay.
We're gonna...
It was a dismal sales volume year overall.
And we probably do it more than we should, but everybody does it, so we report it because we're following what's going on. But again, Goldman Sachs continues to be a bit of a punching bag, comedy of errors, so it's going to get mentioned again.
The Goldman Sachs report always reports 3 months, but it's a lagging 3 months, and it's 2 months behind.
Right.
So
they also have a tendency to report or predict a lot of gloom and doom.
They do, yep.
Phoenix could see 2008-like plummet in housing prices, Goldman Sachs report says.
In January,
Thursday.
End of January.
Yeah, January 25th.
Yeah.
Okay.
2023.
So do they even actually remember 2008? It's absolutely amazing how many times in the past few weeks I've seen and heard the year 2008 banded about in housing reports. For those that don't remember, 2008 was the epicenter of what is referred to as the Great Recession. And I wanted to cover this because it's just a perfect summary of what happened in those days.
Yeah.
The housing bubble burst, causing a global financial crisis. It was the most severe economic recession in the United States since the Great Depression of 1930.
It was.
That's a pretty bold statement.
Yeah, it was.
In 2008, Maricopa County reported upward of 8,500 new notices of trustee sales. We're going to talk about trustee sales, which are the precursor to a foreclosure. Or actually, the
notice
is of a trustee sale, right?
It comes at least 90 days prior to the actual trustee sale.
Right, it's automatic
may
on
not
the
even happen.
91st day, that's right. Most of the time it doesn't. Surpassing 4,500 in a single month.
Whew. Yeah, it was bad.
In 2008, by year's end, the median sales price fell 42% from a high in 2006 of $264,800 to a December close of $143,000.
I didn't remember that statistic. I didn't remember that 43%. Was that astounding to you when you read it?
Yeah, no, I mean, I remember it was common rule of thumb, half price.
Oh, yeah, half price. That's true.
Half price.
Yeah.
Everybody was talking. Everything's half price. And it was pretty darn close to half price.
Yeah.
Whether we blame Goldman Sachs for conducting a lazy analysis or the headline editor, our market is actually experiencing a needed and necessary market correction, not a crash.
Correction. Yes. Yes.
Okay, moving on to a few highlights. February 2023. Existing homeowners are reluctant to sell their current home, buy a different property, and then borrow at a higher rate, thereby restricting supply. So February of 2023 was the first time that we started talking about the golden handcuffs on sellers.
Handcuffs, yep.
And you're going to hear it repeated and repeated.
Yep.
Moving on to March, the increase in mortgage rates is the key reason new listings have declined sharply year over year. For homeowners with low mortgage rates, here we go again, it makes perfect sense to stay put.
Stay put.
But what about homeowners with either low or no mortgages? That's right, I'm talking about the boomers. Okay.
Right.
While baby boomers, defined as Americans between the ages of 55 and 74, comprise just 22% of the U.S. population, they count for nearly 42% of homeowners nationwide.
Yep.
So in a recent Point.com survey, how important is it for you to remain living in your home as long as possible? 70%. I mean, the chart was just extremely on spot with how they're thinking and what their plans are. As far as not at all important, less than 1%.
Interesting. Okay.
All right, moving on to April. Sales volume in April was down 25.1% year over year. Wowza.
It was a wowza spring, that's for sure. Last year. Yeah.
Prices are rising, though, due to restricted supply. That seems counterintuitive there, but again, everybody is restricted with these higher interest rates.
Right.
We're once again approaching a dire shortage of homes for sale. May 2023, in May, I remember this period of time too, institutional buyers, corporate buyers, and hold entities purchased 57 resale homes and sold 49 for a net gain of 8 homes as a group.
Yeah, they were kind of scratching their head going, uh-oh.
This was a serious point where
because they were trying.
Now May was a period of time where whenever there's an action, there's an opposite action in the economy, and this is the point where this interest rate started making a shift, and the beneficiary of that was new construction. That was the shining star.
Yeah.
Newly built home sales were up 11.75% 8% year over year in
Yep.
Maricopa
Over
County.
the summer, yep.
Home builders are in an optimistic mood with their stock prices recently hitting new highs. And you can peel the onion back and see what were they doing to create this increase in sales. They were buying down rates.
Right.
And that was something that an existing homeowner, could do to some degree, but not the way that a home buyer or a home builder could do it.
So,
Okay, June of 2023, as we transition from our buying season to the off season, I expect prices to wobble throughout the remainder of 2023. And
so wobble.
he missed the mark a little
Up
bit
and down,
on
up
this,
and down, up and
and
down,
he
yeah.
actually talks about it at the end because they had predicted a little bit lower median sales. So what he said is our reported median sales price of $443,000 in June may very well be the high water mark of 2023,
Right.
and that ended up not being correct. It was close. When 2023 closing numbers are reported, it is not unreasonable to expect a modest year-over-year increase in the median sales price. And this is what gets our head spinning, because we're reporting these numbers as record lows.
Right.
But you got to remember that the supply and demand are on equal footing, with sellers actually still having, the demand is still slightly higher than the homes listed. So sellers are still experiencing appreciation. Reports of our housing values collapsing in 2023 look extremely foolish. Again, this is some of the scare reports that are coming out that ended up proving wrong.
Right.
At 2023, now we have a resale market which is plodding along slowly with poor demand and weak supply. Broken record though. The typical 30-year fixed mortgage rate is up to 7.20.
Yeah.
So we're
in
really
June,
starting.
things started getting a little nasty
We're
on us
really
like that.
starting to creep up, and that's putting affordability. So affording to buy a home just got a little harder. Selling an existing home with a mortgage looks even less attractive. Here we go again, golden handcuffs. So new MLS listings are arriving in very low numbers, as they have done all year.
Right.
Okay, August 2023, it was reported in a recent themreport.com article that mortgage applications declined to their lowest level since December of 1996. That's a long time ago.
That was a long time ago.
Higher interest rates have left home buyers facing affordability issues, while homeowners are disincentivized to sell.
Right.
Same
And we
old
kind of talked
story.
about that a little bit. We talked about the same price of a house will cost you X amount of dollars more at that higher interest rate. Is kind of what we were talking about at that time.
Right. On average, I think $1,200.
I know, it's just
A
such a
month
scary
more.
number. I try not to remember that number,
Yeah,
but
no.
yeah, it's a lot.
That just pisses buyers off. They have no interest in.
Beep.
If I was a buyer, I would feel that way.
Yeah. Especially if you were in a position where you had to buy a new home.
And again, this is where the thought of the crash is coming in. And Michael Orr's report at that time, the important measure is the balance between supply and demand. Not demand on its own.
Not demand on its
At the
own, right.
moment, supply is down more than demand is down, so
Right.
prices are firm and
Right.
actually slightly up.
Yep. August we were firm.
Yep. Okay, September, according to a recent Fannie Mae survey as reported by Doug Duncan, Fannie Mae Senior Vice President and Chief Economist, high mortgage rates have surpassed high home prices as the top reason why consumers think it's a bad time to buy a home.
Bomb, bomb, bomb.
In our view, all of this points to home purchase affordability to remain a problem for the foreseeable future. Okay, let's move on to the summary for 2023. Drum roll. 70,605. That was the sales volume for 2023.
We skip over kind of the fall and winter because I mean, a little bit happened then, not much.
It stayed relatively flat.
Yeah, interest rates stayed about the same. Mortgage interest rates stayed about the same. We saw a little increase in listings, which is typical this time of year. And sales kind of complemented that some, but we wobbled to the end of the year, basically, as the
Right.
holidays sunk in.
As was predicted.
Yeah.
Okay, home sale volume was down 14% year over year and 32.27 lower than 2021. That was the pinnacle. So out of the 23 years Armless has been reporting data, only 2001, 2002, 2007, and 2008 were lower.
Right.
The dictionary defines recession as a period of temporary economic decline during which trade and industrial activity are reduced, generally identified by a fall in gross domestic product in 2 consecutive quarters.
Right.
With a decline in overall sales volume of 21.70% from 2021 to 2022 and 14% decline a year later, I think it's safe to say our housing market has been receding.
Mm-hmm.
The Federal Reserve, I'm sorry?
We certainly did recede, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. The Federal Reserve began hiking rates in March of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
The implementation of these policies was tardy, abrupt, but consistent and effective.
Mm-hmm.
Painful as
Painful
it was.
as it was.
It worked.
Thank you, yeah.
Okay. The median home sales price peaked in May, June of 2023 at 475.
2022, right.
2022 at 475 and finished 2022 in a median sales price of 411,999.
So he's off by about.
This past year, even though we had dismal demand, supply was even weaker. As a result, Armless reported a 4.37% increase in the median sales price. So there's your appreciation
There's your
number.
appreciation number.
And
yeah.
that is more typical of what you should expect in real estate, 4 to 5% a year, not double digit.
No, yeah, that's healthy. It's a little lower than we like to see, but it's typical. It's still not out of the ordinary.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of people went, oh my gosh, the home value is going to drop by 10%, 15, 20%.
No, it's not.
No.
It's going to be all right.
All right.
On to the charts now.
Well, yes, you're going to see some charts. Julia will put those up. But let's now leave Armless data and look at public records data for Maricopa County. In 1923, Wall Street buyers, that's institutional plus iBuyers. Remember, an institutional buyer is somebody who buys and holds.
Right.
So they're going to rent it.
They're going to rent it.
For that income and the future appreciation. An iBuyer is a flipper.
Right.
So they're going to buy it, paint it, put carpet in it, maybe new appliances, and then
like that,
sell
yeah.
it for a profit.
Right.
Okay. They accounted for 2014 total home purchases in Maricopa County. This is down 86.75%. Almost 100%.
For them to buy at that point, yeah.
From their 2021
Yeah.
record insanity.
Yeah.
So that was the peak of 2021. This year, down 80, almost 87%. The aftermath of their lack of logic and restraint. You remember they were competing with each other, just paying. I remember asking, how much did Zillow pay you for that home? And I'm looking at the comps and I'm going,
why?
They paid you $50,000 over comp, you know, and
yeah.
So.
Okay. It led to billions of dollars in losses.
Yep, led to billions of dollars in losses as the iBuyers and left institutional buyers with return on investments far below what they had been experiencing. So they were rents. Remember, rent prices were way out of control. I mean, they're still pretty high, but they were insane then.
Yeah.
And so that was who was reaping the reward for that. I think we're going to talk about that just a little bit more.
Okay.
When we turn to the quarterly chart, we can see that gradual increase in iBuyer activity from 2015 through 2019. That was kind of their period. Then came COVID-19 in the second quarter of 2020, when they temporarily ceased operations completely.
Yeah.
They even canceled. Remember, they were canceling.
They were canceling sales.
Transactions. Yeah.
That was terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. They may not have caught the virus, but they did catch an extremely bad case of FOMO. Fear of missing out. And that's kind of where that competition came, and they were just trying to buy as much as they could.
Yeah.
Nothing cures a bad case of FOMO like quarterly reports, and in theirs, the iBuyers lost billions, with a couple of the players even choosing to cease iBuying activity.
Yep. We talked about that.
So they have made a major correction. Currently, iBuyers are paying around 0.87% of appraised value on current purchases. So
87%.
they've got about a 13% window there of profitability. So
Okay.
if you're thinking of selling to one of the iBuyers, expect you're going to sell it for about 13% under. There is some convenience. There's some expedition issues that are favorable, but you do have to pay for those.
Yeah.
So, all right, we are moving right along here. So the trophy for the best performing residential housing sector in 2023 goes to new construction.
Da-da-da.
New construction has been steady and consistent. Home builders had a very good 2023, with home builder stock prices hitting record highs.
Right.
In a recent Realtor.com article, Kelly Zuccarelli, the national builder and condominium program manager for Wells Fargo Home Lending, summarized our current environment perfectly. Builders are offered financing incentives typically not available for buyers of existing homes. Purchasers of newly built homes can see more affordable monthly payments compared to buyers of similar priced existing homes.
Yeah.
So there you go. Use our in-house lender, and we're going to get you a much lower interest rate.
Yeah.
And that's what buyers are looking for now, is an affordable monthly interest or payment, mortgage payment. So
Well, and interest.
well, the lower interest rate results in the lower monthly
Right.
payment. Foreclosures. With foreclosures, homeowners with equity have options, making an actual foreclosure highly unlikely.
Right.
We've talked about this over and over again. If you have $250,000 in equity, you're not going to let your home foreclose.
No.
Worst case, you're
Well,
going
and
to
your
sell
bank
it.
certainly isn't going to either.
Well, the bank would let you. They'd love you to give them foreclose it, and they take
Well,
that
they take
$250,000. Here is a snippet from the annual median appreciation table, which is displayed earlier. The chart runs from 2011 through 2023. It's safe to say homes purchased between 2011 and 2021, unless refinanced, have considerable equity. Now we're going to talk about that a little bit more. Over the last 2 years, home prices have remained relatively flat, leaving home buyers with minimal down payments with little to no equity. Okay, so we've been talking about this for a long time, that everybody has built a ton of equity that bought 2011 to 2021, but now we have to consider those that bought in 22, 23. They don't have that same equity. And typically it's that 2-year mark of a loan where people start getting into trouble. So we may see some foreclosures. We could see that.
That sounds like almost like a soft prediction.
Well, you know, you got to look how the pattern runs. Now, we don't want to go off the deep end on this, but we do want to, you know, be aware that it's there. The numbers are still minuscule. We did see the expected modest increase in year-over-year notice of trustee sales. 2023 saw 254. Remember earlier we were talking about 4,500 in 1 month?
Yeah.
we're talking a year of 254.
Exactly.
So we did have 254 more residential notices recorded in 2023 than 2022. An increase of just over 1 notice per business day.
Right.
Distressed property sales and purchases will again be a non-topic for 2024. So we're not expecting to see anything earth-shattering, but it's something to notice, you know, and keep an eye on.
Right.
Okay. If there's one chart that perfectly portrays the decline in real estate activity over the past 2 years in Maricopa County, it would be this one. This is a really interesting way of looking at this. They're counting the documents that Maricopa County processed. Okay, to kind of get an indication of where the market is. I've never seen this angle before. This is awesome. In 2005, there were 1,975,000 documents recorded in Maricopa County. In 2021, which was our pinnacle high mark before we started, you know, running downhill a little bit here, there were 1,387,000. So that number dropped off about 500,000. In 2023, there were only 662,000 documents.
So these are documents of foreclosure? Are we still talking about foreclosure?
Process. Just
just
process documents. So it's
those
kind
are deeds recorded.
Right. So it kind of gives you an indication of how, even though we're in a strong market, everything has dropped.
Wow.
Just the number of sales.
I should say so. Just over 500,000.
You know, so even though we saw appreciation of almost 5% last year, the number of sales and everything, and you compare it to years in a decade, but you know, 2005 is getting to be quite a long time ago now, but 2 million documents compared to 662,000. That's that kind of shakes me up a little bit. The number of documents.
Geeking out over the numbers.
Yeah.
Wrap up the year for us.
It got done.
In conclusion.
Okay, the Federal Reserve has raised interest rates 11 times since March 2022, the fastest pace of tightening since the early 1980s. In the past 2 years, the Federal Reserve has raised the benchmark rate 11 times in an effort to cool inflation. The Federal Reserve expects to hold rates steady before cutting them in later 2024. So that gives us some reason to consider some optimism. Tom Ruff, I would say a case for very mild optimism can be made. There is certainly no sign whatsoever of a housing market crash. What the market needs most now is higher transaction volume.
Right.
I do not yet know if that is coming, but to hope for it is legitimate. And with that, our word for 2024 is hope. All right. Very long-winded, but that was a lot of good information, and I know it's a bit geeky, but hopefully you enjoyed it. And
we are hopeful for the new year. We're hopeful for, you know, the equity building. We are hopeful for lower interest rates.
I just still feel if we can get that interest rate in that 5% bumping up,
and that's what the predictors are saying. So.
All right, that's our report. Robert and Julia Miller, Rethink Real Estate.
Well, I wanted to highlight our Blackstone listing.
We do
Just
have a new
Two
listing.
more minutes. It is in Blackstone Country Club up in Vistancia. 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths. Show a couple pictures here of it. Beautiful pool with grotto, waterfall, and a bench for seating. There, an umbrella, huge lot. I think it's a 10,000 square foot.
No, I think more than that.
12,000,
I think.
I'll get that number here
maybe
for you.
Just slightly under, but we'll get that.
3-car garage, 1.185 million, and that screened-in patio. Those drop-down shades come in, create an outside room. So it's just gorgeous. $1,185,000 is the list price. We will be doing an open house this Saturday. From 11 to 2, and then again the following weekend unless it sells.
Right.
That's it. That's all I got for now.
Okay, that's our report. Hope you have a blessed rest of the week, and we will talk to you again very soon.
Talk to you soon.